Hello Stampers, Jackie Bolhuis from Klompenstampers. Got a fun project to share with you today. It's really just some simple note cards featuring designer series paper, but I have lots of tips to share. We're going to use the Stamparatus, and I'm going to show you how awesome that is for stamping, especially larger images, and how to put designer series paper on the back of your envelopes to make them look cute. And a few other tips. You know me, I like to share as many tips as I can to make stamping quick and easy. So quick and easy note cards with tons of quick and easy tips so that you too can make quick and easy cards. So without further ado, let's go ahead, flip this camera down, look at what we're using today, and make some note cards. Hang on a sec. I think the highlight today is the designer series paper. We're focusing on using these gorgeous 6x6 packs of paper. You know, when you just need a pop of color or maybe a lot of color with some fun patterns, designer series paper is the way to go. And I love the color groups because when you buy either the brights, the regals, the subtles, or the neutrals, you get I think it's 4 pieces of each color, 2 double-sided designs, 4 of each, in all the colors in that color group. So if you're just starting to build up your supply of stamping and card making products, I kind of suggest stay within a color group because you can purchase let's flip back here. You know, if you stay in a color group, if you like, say, regals, and you buy the ink pads, the cardstock, the designer series paper, you know everything coordinates. So sometimes that's just the easiest way to get started to build your collection. So if you buy the Rich Regal ink, buy yourself some Rich Regal cardstock, Rich Regal designer series paper, and you know everything's going to coordinate. Now, like I said, we are going to use the Stamparatus today. I got ton of tips to share with you, but really the highlight of the show today is that designer series paper. So here's one of the pieces. They're all double-sided so that there's 2 different prints or pieces. So essentially you get 4 different prints, and I'll show those all to you in the other samples I have because I have 4 cards that I've already made up to share with you. Now we're going to use the ridiculously awesome stamp set. I've been using this one a lot. Love these greetings, love the size. But what I want to share with you, because I said I'm always filled with quick and easy tips, and I don't always share this. I like to throw it in once in a while. When you get the stamp sets that are called cling, they're going to come, you've got your rubber, you punch them out, and then you get a sheet of the cling labels on them. So I have found the easiest way to put these labels on is go ahead, peel off that backing piece. Now, this is super sticky. It is not forgiving at all. Once you lay the stamp down, you cannot take it off and move it. So be careful, take your time. But I like to hold my piece of rubber here, and you can see the outline, which matches the outline of the rubber exactly. And I just start over here in the corner, and then I carefully lay that down to fit it right in that opening. And then we go like that and peel it off, and our label is on. So that's your tip for putting your label on. Let's get that out of the way. Now, we are using the Rich Razzleberry designer series paper, and so I have my Rich Razzleberry ink to go with it. Like I said, we're doing note cards today. So the note cards are 3.5 by 5. I love note cards. You see me use them a lot because they do come in a pack of 20. They're pre-scored and folded well, they're not folded, they're scored. They're easy to fold, plus the envelopes, so you're ready to go. Now, the front of it is 3.5 by 5. I think I told you that already. So what I'm going to do is take this 6x6 piece, and we are going to cut a 3.5 by 5. Lately, I feel like I've been doing this a lot, just covering the whole front of my note card, or covering the whole front of just a card in general. I just kind of like the look. So there's our note card. We're going to go ahead, use our adhesive, and we will go ahead and we're going to stick it on. Now, this is one of the reasons I like that green glue, as I like to call it, the Tombow multi-purpose, is, again, I kind of line it up here in the corner, top and left, and I can put it down, and with that adhesive, that liquid adhesive, as long as you don't put too much, it's not going to warp your paper or goosh out, but you can kind of slide it around to get it lined up. Now, if you are like me, sometimes we don't cut perfect, or, you know, maybe sizes aren't perfect, whatever. And see how I've got just a little bit of that paper sticking out on the side? That tends to happen a lot. You know, when we cut things, we don't always cut them exactly perfect. And if that bothers you, I just go ahead and I go to my cutter and I just do a little trimming. And there we go. We're good to go on that one. Yeah, we'll get that out later. So let's set the card aside. And I think before we go on to making the card, let's do our envelope right away. Because this was 6 by 6 and I used, you know, that 3.5 by 5, I have plenty to put on my envelope flap. So what I do, put adhesive on the back of the envelope here, or on the flap. And then again, I'm going to take this piece and I'm kind of sliding it right up. There's like a little ridge where that flap folds over, so it makes it real easy to slide it up nice and tight to that. Press it on there really good. This size, whatever size, it doesn't matter as long as it's bigger than what you need. This is a great way to use up scraps of designer series paper as well. And after I've adhered it down, I just go ahead, take my snips. If you guys don't have a good set of scissors for cutting things like this, these snips are amazing. They're so sharp, and with that fine little tip and nice finger grooves, they cut really, really good. It's kind of one of my essential tools when I talk about things that you really need to make quick and easy cards. So there's our envelope. Let's set that aside, and we're going to bring in our Stamparatus. Now, this here is ready to put either on a clear block, or today we're going to use the Stamparatus. Now, there's lots of uses for the Stamparatus. It eliminates your clear block, so a lot of people like to use this for all their stamping. It's great if you're doing multiples, lots of things at one time. Plus, there's a lot of other kind of fun ways to use it. I think I actually have done a video series. If you go to my YouTube channel and you search Stamparatus, you'll find some other videos I did quite a while ago. Now, for this card, I have a piece of Whisper White. Now, this is just a piece of grid paper to kind of protect. You know, they have the small size grid paper that fits the Stamparatus perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and put my cardstock, this is just a scrap, up here nice and tight in the corner. Now, there are magnets, and they actually are stored underneath here. I don't use them all the time. To me, as long as my paper is up tight on the top and on the side here, if my image doesn't stamp really good, as long as I keep that tight in the corner, I really don't have to mess with the magnets. Now, this is a scrap, so we're going to go ahead, and that's where I want it to stamp, because we're going to cut it out after I've stamped it. Actually, let's move up a little bit. Cut it out after I've stamped it. So I set it where I want it. I close my Stamparatus to pick it up. Okay, that's just an easy way to know it's going to stamp right where I want it. And then I'm going to take my ink pad, and you need to ink this upside down. Now, you got to be a little careful. It's real easy to get ink on the sides here, which if you do that, it's no big deal. Also, I know a lot of people prefer with their Stamparatus to use the Stampin' Spots. If you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you probably have a collection of these. Just buy some reinkers to keep them inked. Or you can buy the uninked ones, and then you buy yourself the set of refills, and you can just fill this up with ink. And I guess some people like it. It's not quite as messy because you don't hit the plastic as easy. So just another option. But I don't care if it gets messy. I just wipe it off when I'm done. So let's ink that up good. Paper's tight in the corner. Close this up. Give it some pressure. You know, this is great, you know, if you have a hard time holding a block or pushing it down nice and even, and look at that awesome image. Now that came out really good, but if for whatever reason, when I had inked this, I had not inked it really well, the beauty of the Stamparatus is I could ink it again, make sure my paper's tight in that corner, and I can always stamp it a second time to, you know, any parts that don't show. So I think that's one of the reasons I love the Stamparatus. Now, let's go ahead, and I would just clean this off with the chamois, but we'll just go ahead and stick that aside for now. And for the card, we are going to use a rectangle, gosh, I don't even know my shapes today. The oval dies. So these are the oval layering dies. They come in a set that has the, you know, just regular ovals, but then also the scallop ovals that coordinate with several of them. And so what I will do is I'm going to stick that right on there. I'm going to go ahead to my die cutting machine and run that through. And while I'm over there, I'm going to take the black one that's a little bit bigger on a piece of black scrap and cut that out. So I will be right back. There we go. There's our oval. We'll pop out our black piece. We'll get those out of the way, that out of the way. Gosh, we had so much stuff going here today. And we need to grab our dimensionals. Now, you know, this card design I'm sharing here, you could easily put any designer series paper there and use any greetings. So whether you're making birthday or thank you or thinking of you or sympathy or whatever, you've got all different kinds of greetings that may be intermixed in different stamp sets. Use some designer series paper, use a greeting, and there you go. Quick and easy cards. So this is a pretty big oval, so I like to put them out on those 4 kind of corners. There's not really corners, but and then one in the middle so it doesn't sink down on us. So we'll peel those off and then we'll put that onto the black. Now, as soon as I finish this one, I have 4 other ones to share with you. So you'll see more of the greetings in the stamp set along with other prints of the designer series paper. Now, let's take some baker's twine. Now, I will tell you, this is a super old package of baker's twine. No, it's not baker's twine, it's linen thread that I found when I was cleaning out a bunch of retired products. Now it comes in a nice roll instead of this kind of cumbersome flap. And all I did was I doubled it, wrapped it around to kind of figure out what size to cut it. And we'll go ahead and tie a little bow over here. You guys know me, I think linen thread is my signature ribbon I use. I struggle tying bows with regular ribbon. You know, it's always too thick, too stiff, whatever. So that's why I find I use so much of this. Now, this older stuff has kind of weird kinks in it, but there we go. It'll work. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to add some dimensionals on our black as well. You know, the quickest, simplest, easiest cards, as long as you have a couple of layers and you pop them up on dimensionals, it makes all the difference in the world. It's just that it's amazing what that dimension does. And we can't peel the backings off today. There we go. Let's see if that bow's over far enough, because we're going to just kind of slide it in right there. We don't want the bow under it. And we'll go ahead and stick that down. And voila, there you go. Isn't that adorable? And look at how easy. And imagine any designer series paper. If you like these color packs, you could do this in any color. So now let me grab the other 4 that I've already made. Now with these 4, I wanted to focus on using all of the stamps here. So we've got the Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear. And you can see here's just another one of those prints. This is the Rich Razzleberry, so same color. But then I did put greetings on the inside of each one of these. So we've got You've Got This. And again, this time, instead of using those layering ovals, we've got the layering circles, as well as this one. And this, I kind of just did it the other way. You got this, and then let your faith be bigger than your fear. And I just added some of that linen thread underneath instead of tying it in a bow and wrapping it around, just to do it a little bit different. Here is the same stamp I used today. Make today ridiculously awesome. P.S. I love you. Here you can see the polka dot print. So I love that. It's kind of a retro looking polka dot. And You Are My Sunshine. Well, of course I had to use the crushed curry on that one. And again, the P.S. I love you. But there you go. You can see how any color, and there are the different prints. You know, there's one other one. I guess I didn't use that one. The back side of the wood grain piece has some great little words in all different languages. I can't remember what it says. It just makes a great background. So I hope you've liked this video today. I hope you see how easy it is to make cards with just some designer series paper and a greeting. Whether it's this paper and this greeting set or any papers or any greeting sets. So hop on over to my website. Over there, I will have all the products listed that I used today, as well as all the measurements. And if you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order, I would truly appreciate it when you select me to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm here to help you and answer any questions I have. Reach out to me, either leave me a comment or send me an email, and I'll help you in any way that I can. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.